Some breaking news now. A house fire in Lakewood killed one person last night. 3 other people were rescued. Firefighters say there was heavy smoke and flames shooting out of the home on 12th Avenue in Allison. Air Tracker 7 was over the scene as the sun came up to give you a perspective on how this multifamily complex is laid out. Firefighters say the flames spread from one unit to another. No word yet on a cause. Colorado is the top state for auto theft in the country, and now our Attorney General is going after 2 of the top car makers, Kia and Hyundai.
Denver7's Colette Bordelon is kicking off our in-depth team coverage from our parking lot. And Colette, we have a few co-workers out here that are actually driving these cars that are at risk.
I know, I'm sure that's all they've been thinking about too, because we've been reporting on it for months now. And thieves, they've obviously never needed a key to necessarily get into your car, but if you own certain Hyundais or Kias, once they're inside, they can steal it and drive away in just a matter of minutes. It's absolutely insane. And when you think about it, these kinds of Kias and Hyundais that are so easily stolen, they've been manufactured for a decade. Let that sink in to think about just how many of these cars are out on the road right now. Like I said, we've reported on this because unfortunately Colorado leads the nation with car theft per capita. It's probably one of the reasons why our Attorney General did sign on to that letter. Now, all those AGs, they were writing to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. That letter that they wrote, they were saying that they want to recall those Hyundais and Kias made between 2011 and 2022, calling them unsafe. It continues to say they can be hotwired and stolen in just a few minutes. Thefts of these cars have led to at least 8 people being killed across the country, while also taking up a significant amount of time for law enforcement and emergency services. A series of online videos took off, showing all you need is a USB cable and screwdriver to get past the ignition. With that, a thief can start the car in as little as 20 to 30 seconds. We shared the stories of several victims since last fall.
I finally had something to call my own that I could walk out every day and be proud to say, I bought that.
I had parked it in front of my house for just one night. It was gone the next morning, and they found it 10 days later in LA.
Hyundai and Kias, they have voluntary campaigns that are meant to try and provide updates to fix this issue. Since they provided those voluntary campaigns, around 165,000 people have actually installed them. It's just a small percentage of the more than 2 million people they actually notified about that fix. And in the letter, the AGs say that response, it's just not good enough. In Denver, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Yeah, hopefully people will see this and take the time to make that fix.
Yeah. Thank you, Colette.
Thank you. And to give some more context here, 6 out of the top 10 vehicles stolen in Colorado last year were either Kias or Hyundais. Thefts have gotten so out of control that 3 auto insurance carriers are declining to cover certain models in our state. That's Allstate, Progressive, and State Farm.
Colorado lawmakers are working to crack down on the problem. A bill in our legislature would make most car thefts a felony regardless of the car's value. The exception is for so-called joyrides. That's when someone takes a car, then returns it within 24 hours without committing other crimes or causing damage. That would be a misdemeanor. The bill has already passed the state Senate. It's headed to a House committee next Wednesday. And if you want to protect your car right now, Denver police is offering a free steering wheel lock. The department is partnering with Advanced Auto Parts. You can pick up a lock at the stores on West Colfax Avenue and South Federal Boulevard tomorrow from 11 to 1.
A Castle Rock school bus driver has been fired after he was caught on camera intentionally slamming the brakes of the bus with students on board.
You guys want to see how dangerous that is?
This happened just last month after school. Brian Fitzgerald says students were running around and he wanted to, quote, teach the kids a lesson. He's facing more than 24 charges of child abuse. Denver Public Schools is partnering with a security company now. Robinson Corporation Security Group will evaluate current safety plans. The move comes nearly a month after 2 deans were shot by a student on the East High campus.
And yesterday, yesterday the DPS board talked about whether discussions about school safety should be held in public meetings as opposed to closed-door executive sessions. Some say there's too much sensitive information to talk about openly. Other members want the discussions to be public for the sake of transparency. This comes as a new poll finds many Denver voters have unfavorable views of the school board. The survey by Republican firm Signal and Democratic firm Chisholm Strategies found nearly 63% of those surveyed believe board members care about their own political ambitions more than improving educational outcomes for children. Yesterday on Local 3, I asked Denver Mayor Michael Hancock about the disconnect between district leaders and families when it comes to school safety.
Have a right to be frustrated and disappointed. They want their children to go to school in a safe environment, expect that everything's going to be okay, and that the school district and the schools are doing everything they can to create that environment, create that safe environment for their young people. And so I don't know what the disconnect is, to be quite honest with you, other than they have need to stop playing politics and get to work on passing good strategies and implementing good plans to keep our young people, as well as the faculty and staff, safe. As we've seen, the two deans were injured and thankfully are able to recover from their injuries. But there's just no place to be talking about anything other than the education and the safe and health of our young people in those buildings right now. And we as a voter base need to have zero tolerance for any shenanigans that allow us to be distracted or allow themselves to be distracted from that conversation.
The school board election is in November. 3 seats on the 7-member board are open. Only board VP Ayante Anderson has said he'll run for re-election. The school board still has to finalize new district maps to determine the boundaries of districts 1 and 5, which are the other 2 open seats.
The city auditor says Denver needs to do a better job tracking its spending on the Great Hall project at DIA. A new report suggests there is no process to determine if the main contractor is overpaying for work. It also criticizes the airport for a lack of oversight on subcontractors and for not exploring all options when selecting its main contractor. The Denver Post reports DIA officials disagree with most of the report and its recommendations. Avs fans are coming off of a roller coaster of emotions. The defending Stanley Cup champs had a rough start in Game 2, but later on they rallied to defeat the Seattle Kraken. Leaving the first, Avs were down 2-0. They were able to tie it up though after the second period and went on to win the game 3-2. The series is now tied at 1. The Avs are heading out to Seattle for Game 3 tomorrow. Puck drops at 8 p.m. The Denver playoff madness just continues as the Nuggets travel to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves in Game 3 of their playoff series. The Nuggets currently lead that series 2-0. Tip-off at 7:30.
It is the last day of National Volunteer Week, and I wanted to highlight one opportunity that gets you outside, gets you some exercise. It's for adults of all ages. Discover Denver is a program through Historic Denver, and the group has spent about 9 years now surveying buildings all around the city, going block by block to learn more about the history and evolution of our city. I went along with them in Denver's Skyland neighborhood between City Park and Park Hill. Volunteers are given tablets to take photos of homes and commercial buildings and document features.
So we train all of our volunteers. They all have to go through a training where we kind of turn a fire hose of information on for them so that they can learn about all the pieces and parts of buildings and how to accurately describe them. We have folks that are architects, we have folks that are historians, we also have people that have no background in this at all. And you know, we have a lot of new people in Denver that have moved from other places, and it's a great way for them to get to know their city.
You can go to Denver or discoverdenver.co to get involved. They're working on putting all of this data online at some point this year, so any of us will be able to click on a property and learn more about it. Colorado lawmakers are working to make our state a sanctuary state. The bills that would secure abortion rights in Colorado and how it could help people in neighboring states.
And a warning when it comes to job search scams. We have some red flags that you need to be out on the lookout for while you're searching online.